Who's gonna do the? The June 11th, 2019 regular meeting of the Hawthorne City Council is called to order with all members present. Pastor McNeil will be doing the invocation tonight, and we will be led in the Pledge of Allegiance by, Superintendent O'Brien. All right, everyone please stand, please.
Hold on.
Prayer first. We're gonna do God first.
Father God, we just thank you right now for this time that we get to come together. We thank you for our mayor and our city council and all those who work, our treasurer, and all those who make our city great. We thank you, Lord, for the presentation that have gone on tonight. But Lord, we thank you, Lord, that we are a community that works and stands together. We lift up each other, we hold each other up, and we're going to make this a better Hawthorne. We pray for all the affairs of this great city, and we thank you right now for the great leadership. We thank you for the great people, and we thank you for the great outcome that are going to cause others in other cities to want to take note of what we're doing as we go out and we personally impact people and communities and neighborhoods. And so we thank you right now. In Jesus' name, amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, folks. Councilmember Montero has a presentation on the agenda. So we're honoring a lot of students today. So this is great.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yes, indeed. Actually, we have to honor these students because, for 4 years they go to high school, they study hard, and it's a great honor that my nonprofit and some of the organizations that I dedicate, like the Lions Club, the Hawthorne President's Council, the Moneta Gardens Improvement, and myself, I have gave scholarship since 1995. So it's been a long time. And this year we gave 12 scholarships. So 6 to Hawthorne Math and Science Academy and 6 to the Hawthorne High School, right? So Dr. Bryan and Dr. Lensfield, thank you for coming to represent the Centennial Valley. We've been working together as a school board member in the past, and you guys have come a long way. And the schools are tremendous in your leadership, and I'm very proud to say Centennial Valley is doing well. So thank you for that because it was a challenge in the past. So you guys have demonstrated that you have the leadership and the knowledge to make it what it is right now. So thank you for that. So I'm going to call the names, but I'm not sure if all the students are here. From Hawthorne High, I have Destiny Camacho. All right. The Akko Oliver. All right. Desi Nora Gay. Nayeli Santillan. Joe Margot Pascalson. Jair Vargas. Okay, so those were the students from the Hawthorne High, and like Mr. Haydara said, they have GPA, over 4 point, and beyond. So fantastic. From Hawthorne Math and Science Academy, and I know they graduated already last week, so they probably are gone already. But Chelsea Egbo, Denise Ariate, Lidea Tashfani, Angel Embody, Raymond Perez, and Jade Burns. So all these was recipient of the scholarship. that I did present at the Scholarship Night on May 29, and also at the Math and Science Academy on May 21st. So all these students are going to go to Fines University, so you can tell us where you're going.
Hello, my name is Destiny Camacho, and I plan for the fall of 2019 to go to UC Santa Barbara to pursue a bachelor's in zoology, and then hopefully get into a vet school to become a veterinarian in the future.
Wonderful.
All right.
Hello, my name is Diaco Oliver, and after high school, I plan to save money by attending El Camino College, and then after a year, transferring to Rhode Island School of Design to major in fine arts and hopefully inspire the people in my community and people internationally. Thank you a lot.
Actually, I used to live in Rhode Island. I went to University of Rhode Island, so it's a great city. Okay, so let's go for with last pictures for today. No, I guess we got more pictures coming, right? I'm done. So just wait for the cake.
Yeah, we have a lot of great talent here in the city of Hawthorne. We have some of the greatest magnet schools, charter schools, and public schools. So we have great leadership. We have great school board members that have turned things around, and great superintendents that are also taking their school districts to new heights. So congratulations to our teachers and their school management. Let's give it up for them.
Yeah.
Our city manager has another presentation on the agenda. Go ahead, sir.
Eric Chavez, our cable TV division. I let Eric speak to that. Won impressive awards this year. Really, they had great achievements. Go ahead.
Thank you very much, Arnie. Good evening, Mayor and Council. Thank you for the time, for letting us come up here and show off some awards that we recently won at an annual conference that we usually participate in. It's called SCANATOA. That stands for States, California, Nevada National Association of Telecommunications Officers and Advisors. That's our chapter that we participate every year. It's all the cable TV departments within the states of California and Nevada. And this is the most awards we've won in quite a while. We won 5 first place awards representing the city of Hawthorne. We also got a 2nd and 3rd place, so 7 total. We entered 11 awards, and we won 7 out of the 11. So very proud of our team that we have here. And I'd like to each one of them come up and introduce themselves and show off each one show off an award that we got. Go ahead, Paul.
Hi, everybody. Here we are again. I thought I was going to get one of those scholarships, but a little bit late for that.
We'll take it.
The one award that I have here is our sports show, which is called Sports Corner, and we won first place on that. And we were up against two shows from Torrance, their sports desk shows. So, and they have a much bigger budget than we do. So,
Oh, wow.
first place.
Hello, my name is Jennifer Murillo. I'm here with a business beat that we did on Frijoles Restaurant. We feature different restaurants and businesses here in the city so people can go and check them out. We went up against Torrance, City of Fairfield, City of Long Beach, and the City and County of San Francisco.
Oh,
So
wow.
we got first place for this.
Yeah, that's right. Not bad.
Hi, my name is Louis Godinez, and we also got first place for the documentary series Under 400,000, the Spotlight Education Dual Merge. And the program we went to was Ramona Elementary, where we did dual emerging for kids that speak English and Spanish. They teach that. And we went up against the city of Costa Mesa and the city of Santa Clarita. And yeah.
Yeah.
Good evening, everyone. I'm Abby Grimion, and here is our first place for economic development under 400,000. This was for a business beat that we did on Pacific Blue Air, which is a business here in the city of Hawthorne where they take you up for a unique open-air flight experience. We went up against the city of Moreno Valley, the city of Lancaster, the city of Fairfield, and the city of Garden Grove.
Oh, wow. Look at
Good evening, Council and the City of Hawthorne. I have the pleasure of holding here the first place for overall excellence with an operating budget of under 400,000. This is our pride and joy. It's been about 12 years since we last won this award. We're very proud of it. A lot of thanks to our crew here, and we're led by Eric and Debbie, who have really just spearheaded this project, you know, for many, many years, and you know, we're seeing it. So thank you guys very much. Thank you everybody for supporting us, and we hope to come back again next year, huh? Let's do it.
We also have here our second and third place awards for our second place for the 2018 Parks and Recreation Foundation Golf Tournament, and third place for our City News program. And these are, City News goes up against the multi-million-dollar budget. So this one, we're proud of it. Before I leave, just wanted to thank some of the crew that couldn't be here. Debbie Chantos, Daniel Lindley, John Mestre, Rasna Suri, Sam Vargas, Sebastian Rodriguez, Tony Long Jr., and Ernesto Gallos, who's downstairs doing the cameras for us today. Without everyone on this list and the people behind me, it's going to be possible. So thank you very much.
Go ahead.
Through the chair. I want to thank you and congratulate you for serving the people of Hawthorne, but also for your excellent quality news programming. Obviously, we're used to you because you're always around whenever we have community events. You're always interviewing. You're always right there on the spot to document the things that we do and make a record of them for everyone to see. And I've been very pleased to always be interviewed by you, to talk to you, and I'm certainly not surprised that you won the awards, but I'm very pleased and congratulate all of you for the high quality work you do.
Thank you very much.
Anybody else?
To the
Go
chair. Honestly, good job, you guys. I've spent a lot of time downstairs in Channel 22 in the little dorm area. If you actually spend some time out there, it's actually pretty amazing to see the electronics in the bottom, what they do on the day-to-day. It's fascinating, and I think I spend more time at events behind the camera talking to you guys than I do in front, and it's because of that joyful likability that you bring to every event and behind the camera, and I think it shows now why we're progressing so far. It's because of the team that you and Debbie are in charge of and the environment that you've made downstairs. So I applaud you and thank you and Debbie for all the hard work, especially with the staff behind you, for all the stuff you do for Hawthorne and Channel 22. Appreciate it.
And one of the things I think that we need to remind the community is that there's a lot of newscasters that their first internships, their first work experience was here in the city of Hawthorne. An endless amount. You guys have like a little wall of fame over there where
Yeah,
you guys.
we have them downstairs, and we have some people on Channel 9, Channel 4, Channel 5, anchors, reporters, and they all started here.
Didn't somebody go to like Idaho or something? Something like.
Yeah, we have them all over the
all
US.
over the United
Yeah.
States. So, and so we have some reporters and some camera peoples here that are, you're going to be seeing and hearing about in the national newscast real soon. So I want to congratulate you and thank you for ditto to everything that my council member colleagues have said. And we want to congratulate you once more.
Thank you very much.
Let's take a picture. It'd be nice to take a picture.
Wait, so Eric, when we have to take a picture of you.
You guys are the ones we need to take a picture with.
This time you're in the picture.
Chris Robles will take it.
And what?
Just don't break it. It comes out of our budget.
Right.
I don't deserve it. No, that's okay. No, they deserve it, not me.
Paul, check you out. Suit and everything.
Yeah, he's gonna tell me.
Look at you, all dressed up for tonight.
Quiet as a mouse.
Not yet, Olivia. It's not rotating.
Oops.
I get it. All right.
That's it.
All right. All right, folks. So we have a lot to celebrate. We have a lot to celebrate. The recipients of the Awad Family Scholarship, the two sets of those. We have a visit from our state treasurer. We have the second set of presentations and awards, scholarships for the rest of the high school students from CVS, Centinela Valley Union High School District, and the local school districts. And for us as a community, our community television awards that we have received. So it's a lot to celebrate. So that's why we as a city council, we're going to take you guys can take as much time as you want outside, but we as a city council, we're going to be returning in 5 minutes after this last presentation that we're going to have. So it's going to be 5 minutes for us. You guys can stay out there as long as you want to. But do you have another presentation?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is not actually a presentation, just 1 minute introducing our new Public Works Director and Public Works Manager. This individual has 30 years of experience. He's a California board registered civil and traffic engineer. If you guys remember, I don't know, we had $17 million worth of capital infrastructure improvement only in the last 12 months. So you can see the people behind the scene now. Our new Public Works Director, Alan Leong, please stand up. And also our Public Works Manager, the $1 million man behind many of our grants. He will be responsible for all of our grants reporting, maintenance, and fleet. Akbar Faruqi.
We
Thank you, Mr.
We congratulate you and welcome. You're trusted by staff, by your colleagues, by your city council elected officials here. So we trust that you're going to do a great job and carry on the legacy in the public works section that Arnie has laid out. Right?
how
Very
about-
important. Go ahead.
How about a picture?
All right. So
To
now,
the chair, hold
yeah,
on one second.
go ahead.
So,
go ahead.
Arnie, and also I found out today that you have hired a housing director, right?
Yes, that she will be, I forgot Kimberly's last name, but yeah, she will be starting with us next week. So she will be introduced in the upcoming council meeting. Yes. Because our current housing manager retired. Yeah. Thank you.
Is the HR individual here? Is she here?
No, she will be starting full time later in July.
And we'll have another
Yes.
introduction, right?
Yes.
Great,
Thank
great.
you.
I know you did. We have done our due diligence as a city, make sure that we only bring in the best. So now, as I said, the city council will spend 5 minutes out there with you, and the rest of you can stay out there as long as you need to enjoy cake. So this meeting is adjourned. 5 minutes for the city council. We'll start back up in 5 minutes. Okay. Council meeting for June 11, 2019 is now back to order. I'm going to ask our Madam Clerk to please read the guidelines for oral communications, ma'am.
During oral communications, speakers shall have 3 minutes to state their business. The Brown Act prohibits the City Council from providing a detailed response or acting upon any items not contained on the agenda. The governing bodies as a body shall have the discretion at the close of oral communications to refer your remarks to the city manager for a study, investigation, report, and/or recommendation.
Okay. I have 4 cards. Carol Maston. I'm sorry, man. I made you jump, it seemed like. I'm sorry. I should have looked at you or something first. I'm cool. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's on, ma'am. You're just nervous.
Okay. Yeah, you made me a little nervous. I didn't know you were going to call me first. But anyway, good evening to Council, Mayor Vargas, and to all the council persons. My name is Carol Maston, and I live at 2425 West 115th Street. And I just have a couple of issues I wanted to just address. One, I was informed that we were going to have our trees trimmed in July. However, they came in June. And my concern is that they started on Cashmere and they trimmed the trees. And then they posted signs that they would trim our trees on June the 7th and not to park in front of your house from 7 to 5. So I got up early Friday morning, moved my car, and the tree trimmers didn't show up. But they came back and they changed the sign to June the 10th from 7 to 5. So I got up again on Monday and I moved my car, and they never returned. So today is June 11th, and I haven't heard a tree trimmer. So I don't know what happened. I don't know the company, because I didn't see the truck. I just heard them on Cashmere when they were trimming the trees, but by the time I got out there, they were gone. But I'm just concerned about what happened to them and if they're coming back. But the signs are still posted, but I'm not going to move my car again. But I was telling Mr. Blow that I'll probably get towed if I don't move the car. But I hope not. But anyway, I'm just concerned about that. And my other concern is that we had a guy last week that was jumping all the backyards. I live off the alley behind Olivet Lutheran Church and the apartments. And we just had this young guy that was just jumping, just coming over the fence in the backyard and didn't say a word. And he was just looking all around. When he hopped my fence, when my fist kind of shakes, it's like the wind was shaking. And so I said, what? It's not windy. What's wrong with my gate? So I went out, and he was on top of my gate, and I started yelling at him, do not come in my yard, get out of my yard, get out of my yard. Well, his shoestring got stuck in the spike.
Oh,
so he was
man.
trying to get down, and I was like, oh my God, he's gonna hang himself. But he was trying to get down, and he couldn't get down, and I had my granddaughter to call the police. And she was on the phone calling the police. The neighbor on the corner was calling the police, and he just went from yard to yard. And all he would do, he wouldn't say a word, not a word. So I think something, was probably wrong, because he never, sometimes you scare people up. They say, okay, ma'am, I'm going. This guy never said a word. We had a good description of him, and the couple of folks that have the ring, they have good footage of photos of the guy. And at our community meeting, they just told us to take the footage over to the Hawthorne Police Department so they can see it, because they have a good picture of him. But I just wanted you to be aware that I don't know if he's homeless or what, but he's just, jumping from yard to yard, and then he just ran off. So I just wanted you to know that. Thank you.
We'll get the notes. Ma'am, can you fill that out and give it to our city manager? And we'll refer to the tapes also. Chief Mike Ishii, or will you be going first?
Yes, sir.
Okay, go ahead, sir. Hi.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. On behalf of the Hawthorne Police Officers Association, my name's Captain Jim Royer, and I'd like to introduce one of our detectives, Detective Tom Kang, who would like to talk about a recent endeavor that the Police Officers Association did in conjunction with Councilperson Toledo and his Wounded Warriors Project.
Good evening. It's been a pleasure to be here today. On June 2nd, our department revisited our old versus new rivalry with our softball organization, kind of thing, if you want to call it. Way before I even got hired, softball has been somewhat of a structure and somewhat of part of our culture. My chief, Michael Ishii, emphasizes culture and identity within our police department. And believe it or not, I know it's an odd topic to talk about, but softball has played a role in that. Being a brand new officer, finding out that Captain Royer, one of the original members of the team, just biting at the bits, trying to get on the team and be part of the Hawthorne culture. So before, Captain Royer's badge is 215, I'm 309. There was always a divide, the 200s versus the 300s. The dreaded 300s coming in, trying to take over. Who are they? We're the old and pride. And so we play, and then we end up beating them one game, and then they beat us once. And then through that, it's created bonds within our organization. Senior members like my captain, hobnobbing and socializing with the new boots of the department, going to Arizona, Las Vegas, Palm Springs, playing the softball tournaments, stuff like that. So it's been a while, so then we just happened to talk about, hey, let's revisit it. And the new thing was people that booked at the old station versus people that booked at the new station. So then there was another divide. And, we got that going. And then somehow, I got in communication with Councilman Toletta and understood that he was responsible and participating in many organizations, and he asked if we wanted to play softball. And somehow, through communication, it worked out. So on June 2nd, we had our own interdepartment one, and then the second game, we ended up playing with his Wounded Heroes during that event, and it was a pretty good turnout. Approximately 100 people showed up, which was quite surprising, with spectators and players, and it was somewhat of good competition. A lot of bloopers, a lot of laughs and everything else. But it was just the camaraderie there. My chief showed up. He took an at-bat, so it was showing his special talents as well. It's just wanted to just express that even though we work hard on a daily basis, that we enjoy spending time together outside of work, just reminiscing about the good old times and everything else. So I'm sorry, Captain Royer took some of my time, but just want to show my appreciation, and it is one of a kind event that we never had in terms of our playing a softball together. So, Councilman Toletta, thank you very much.
Well, thank you, to the chair. He's being kind when he says we gave him a game. These guys, let me tell you, they beat us like a drum. I mean, like right from the gate. The first never thought that first inning would ever end. But what happened was we talked about it, and we didn't have a team. So I had 6 weeks to scramble for a team, and then we showed up thinking that we had a team. But in our organization, these young guys that went to Iraq and went to Afghanistan, one of the things that they need more than anything else is fellowship, because they still are young, they still want to be active, they still want to participate in some kind of competition. And I really, truly thank the Hawthorne Police Department for giving us that opportunity, because we had a blast as we're getting killed. It was a lot of fun, and they were great. I mean, it was really a pleasure to see the two lines going, shaking hands, and there's a mutual respect, because the work that they do is a tough job. They got to go out in the street and do the tough job. And my guys end up going to faraway places and doing a very tough job as well. And so there was a mutual respect there, and it was kind of special. So now we have a baseball team, and maybe one day we could get a rematch, But I tell you, they got guys on that team. I'm not kidding. I don't care how far back you play, they hit it over your head. But it was a lot of fun. It really was. We enjoyed it. Our guys were stoked, And I want to thank you, Detective Kank, for making that happen. You know, really, it was a good day for everybody. So I
Through the
just-
chair, Mayor.
It needs to be brief. That was his.
Very- it
He,
will
he
be
was
brief.
speaking as a oral communication
I know.
person, so
I know.
it needs to be. Go ahead.
It's going to be very brief. And I want to thank Officer Detective Kang and also Councilman Toledo for the great game. I had the pleasure of going as a spectator. I wouldn't have dared get out there and try to play, but I enjoyed it so much. It was a great community event, and I think that's what they were both trying to convey. It was friendly competition. It brought together the players and their families, and I want to see it continued because I thought it was great. I think the whole city needs to see that game. That's a great community event. I would like to see that continued.
Yeah, well, we plan on it. We plan on it.
Through the chair, real
Yes.
quick
Go ahead.
comment. How far did Chief Ishii's hit go?
He got on base.
He got on base?
He got on base, and I was pitching.
All right.
You know,
Okay, so our Chief Ishii, all right.
He got on base.
Wow. I can't even make
he's a
base, that's why.
lefty. You know,
He's
he's
a
a
lefty.
lefty, and he's good. But you know, he
Excellent.
caught us at the end when we were wiped out. You know?
okay.
No, he was great.
All right,
It
guys.
was
Thank you
great.
so much. Excellent. Excellent, excellent, excellent. Okay, so Herminia Balboa and Arlene Romero, Sociedad Jose Marti. Good stuff, guys.
Good evening, honorable members of the City Council, staff, and residents. My name is Herminia Balboa, 4535 West 133rd Street in the great city of Hawthorne. I'm here tonight as a member of Sociedad Jose Marti, a nonprofit organization also known as the Cuban Club. With me is our current president, Arlene Romero. Also, we have Gloria Garbalosa, member of the current board, and also 3 of the past presidents, Gladys Gonzalez, Francisco Bilbao, and Manuel Balboa. I would like to introduce to you Ms. Romero.
Good evening, council, staff, and residents of this city of good neighbors. This October, our organization is commemorating our 50th year of its foundation, and we are proud to announce that to celebrate this occasion, we will again hold our Cuban Festival. We would like to invite you to support the 2019 Cuban Family Festival. Sociedad Jose Marti is a nonprofit organization located in Hawthorne that strives to share the wealth of our culture, food, music, and traditions with their adoptive country through this annual festival. The club offers a great opportunity for their members and guests to interact and foster pride in their Hispanic heritage through a variety of activities. This is the only yearly fundraising event that makes the club's cultural endeavors possible, as well as contribution to other communities' charitable needs. The festival will be held Sunday, September 15th, from noon to 7 o'clock at our clubhouse, 12141 Prairie Avenue in the city of Hawthorne. Our celebration is part of the City of Hawthorne's approved list of events. We are respectfully asking our elected officials for a donation to help in making this event possible. Finally, we invite everybody to join us on September 15th for this fun cultural and musical community festival as we celebrate Cuban style. And we know that our mayor has gone several times in the past, so we appreciate that. Yes, many of you, I think, have been there. Yes, thank you. So we appreciate your collaboration, and we appreciate your support in the past, and we look forward to your support in the future. Thank you.
Thank you. And they passed out some materials here to us, okay? Lillian Carboyan. Lillian, she left?
Yeah, because she said she couldn't stay. But can
Would
I
you
say,
like to?
can
Would
I
you
say
like to
something?
enter
Yes.
these on the record on her behalf? Go ahead.
So Lillian Carbona, she every year she comes and donates money to a school or to a cause. So she said she wanted to donate $500 to the elementary schools in Hawthorne. So I asked her to write the check to the Hawthorne Education Foundation for $500. I'll give this to Dr. Morgan next week. So thank you, Lillian. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Yes. Pat Donaldson?
Good evening, Mayor, Mayor Pro Tem, City Council. Patricia Donaldson, President CEO of the Hawthorne Chamber of Commerce. I just wanted to make a few announcements. On August 22nd at 7:30 a.m., we're going to have our Rise and Shine breakfast mixer at the Marriott across the street. And it will be sponsored by the gas company, and Denise Campos will be speaking at the breakfast. And Jan Vogel will be, we're going to have two speakers. So Jan Vogel and Denise Campos will be speaking at the Rise and Shine breakfast on August 22nd, 7:30 a.m. across the street at the Marriott. And then on September 19th, we're having our golf tournament. And I hope that, like last year, that all of you will be able to attend. And the registration is at 10 a.m. It's going to be at Rio Hondo. And looking forward to seeing you there. You can call the chamber to sponsor the event. And then the last thing is I wanted to give these to the city council, even though I did text everyone. We went to Steve Romero's swearing in Ontario, Oregon, and it was really, really nice. So now he's the chief out there, and it's a city like Hawthorne, just like Hawthorne. So anyways, I made copies for everybody, so thank you very much.
Thank you. But no, there's no city like Hawthorne. I just need to correct you. I'm so sorry, but I know what you mean. I know what you mean. I know what you mean. All right. That was all the cards that I had. Is anybody else wishing to address the city council? If not, I need you guys to line up so we can get an idea of how many people we do have. Okay, thank you, ladies. Go ahead. Ms. Aguilar? Thank you.
Good evening. Lisa Aguilar on behalf of the North Hawthorne Community Association. We would like to publicly thank Chris Boros and Alex Martinez from Code Enforcement for being part of the last meeting last Monday. It was a very resourceful and productive meeting. Also, to please save the date for August 31st for the North Hawthorne Community Association annual picnic. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner Kyle Orleman.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, council members, city staff, and neighbors. I just wanted to come and bring some good news in case any of you had not seen this on the news in the past few days. As you know, we got involved about a month or so ago on the controversy pertaining to the naming of the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And I would like to happily report to you that our efforts were successful. I would like to thank you for your individual letters that went to the commission. I would like to thank you for the city resolution that went to the commission. And last Friday, the word came out that the compromise that we'd been asking for has been accepted. So it will be the United Airlines field at the Los Angeles Memorial Coliseum. And apparently...
It sounds good. It sounds good,
yeah.
Doesn't it? It sounds good.
Yep, we did it. So that took a lot of effort, and you guys not just stepped up, you jumped up, and I very much am grateful for that. And also there's talk going on right now about actually putting a Veterans Memorial display within the Coliseum and bringing attention to that. And when I heard that that was a possibility, as some of you know, I have letters that were written by my great uncle in the trenches at Chateau Thierry in 1918 during the battle there, which was part of the Battle of the Marne, and that stopped the onslaught that would have taken Paris, and we would all be speaking different languages at this point. So being that I don't have family and I do have those original letters written from that battle, that's something that I told people I would be willing to consider donating as part of their permanent display. So again, thank you so much for the support that you guys put into this. What started out as being done under the radar became a huge swelling of people saying, not on my watch, and we prevailed. So thank you.
Excellent. So I don't see anybody else. So I'll declare oral communications closed. So ordered. Madam Clerk?
Mr. Mayor, I have 7 items on my consent calendar for your approval. Item number 7, approval of the City Council minutes for the special meeting of May 28, 2019. Item number 8, approval of waiver of full readings of resolutions on tonight's agenda. Item number 9, the City Treasurer requests the approval of the warrants. Item number 11, resolution number 8087, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, supporting the annual National Dump Deposit Month in Hawthorne, California. Item number 12, resolution number 8089, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, proclaiming Friday, June 14, 2019 as Flag Day. And item number 13, resolution number 8106, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, opposing Assembly Bill 516-2, authority to remove vehicles. And item 14, resolution number 8109, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne approving an agreement between the city and Admin Shore Incorporated to administer the city's general and auto liability self-insurance program for
Okay.
adoption.
I would like to pull 13 for a discussion.
Oh yeah, I was gonna do that too, but sure. Excellent. All right. I make a motion for all items except 13. Please vote.
Hadar.
Oh no, what does it?
Okay.
Just-
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
Okay, I'll cede to Mayor Pro Tem Valentine. Go ahead.
Okay, with respect to item number 13, this is our request to, this is request to staff to prepare a resolution opposing AB 516. Cities place boots on vehicles and remove the vehicles from public streets when motorists accumulate a minimum of 5 unpaid parking tickets or the vehicle registration has been expired for 6 or more months. Before removing the vehicle, a 72-hour notice is posted on the vehicle and a boot is sometimes placed on a tire. AB 516 would eliminate the ability for cities to immobilize or place a boot on a vehicle for these actions. This would severely limit the ability of the city to enforce the law against those who obviously have no intent to comply with it. So therefore, I am supporting resolution number 8106 to oppose Assembly Bill 516.
Absolutely. I'm in support of the letter opposing this. So I'm opposing this this assembly bill that they're trying to put up there. It's another attack on local control. It's trying to tie the hands of our local police agencies and our enforcement agencies within the city on being able to enforce what we've already know is that people try to park longer than they want, than they should, hogging up kind of the spaces that you guys have over there and not allowing other people to park in those. There's not circulation of cars being parked on the street, and that's very important. So it's just another, I'm just kind of concerned that Sacramento is just trying to tie our hands again and try to impose their control. We know what the problems are within our city and the dynamics, and we kind of know best. We're sure we'll take some of their advice, but we know what the specific issues are here within the city, and parking is one of them, and we need to be able to enforce it as much as possible. You want to make, since you brought it up, you want to make the motion? Go ahead.
I move that Resolution 8106 be passed opposing Assembly Bill 516.
We don't second that. Please vote, guys.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
Okay. Item number 16.
Now is the time and place for a public hearing to adopt resolution number 8104, approving the annual engineer's report, confirming the assessment diagram and assessment amounts, and authorizing the levy and collection of assessments for improvement of the street lighting system, landscaping, and street lighting act of 1972 for the fiscal year 2019-2020.
Is there anyone? Okay, go ahead.
Public Works Declaration publication filed, no written communications were received.
Is there anyone that wants to talk on this item? Speak on it? If not, I'll declare the hearing closed so ordered.
Resolution 8104, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, approving the annual engineer's report, confirming the assessment diagram and assessment amounts, and authorizing the levy and collection of assessment for improvement of the street lighting system, landscaping, and street lighting act of 1972 for the fiscal year 2019-2020 for adoption.
Move to approve.
Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
Item number 17, miss.
Now is the time and place for a public hearing to adopt resolution number 8105, confirming assessments for fiscal year 2019-2020, weed and waste abatement, and authorizing the collection thereof. Public Works Department's declaration publication filed, no written communications were received.
I didn't receive any cards. Does anybody want to speak on this item? If not, I'll declare oral communications closed on this item.
Resolution number 8105, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, confirming assessment for weed and waste abatement and authorizing the collection thereof. For adoption?
Where are we at? Okay. I make the motion on this one.
Second.
Which one are we talking about? 18?
Resolution
17.
number 8105. I know we kind of went, we went really quick, so
Oh, yeah.
it's the one right before. You want to look at your notes? You ready? Okay. Please vote.
The vote reflects Mayor and City Council voting yes.
Item number 18 now, please.
Item 18. Now is the time and place for a public hearing on a consideration of an amendment to the municipal code to incorporate provisions for accessory dwelling units in compliance with state law. Planning Department's declaration publication filed, no written communications were received.
I don't see any cards. Anybody want to speak on this item?
I'd like to the chair.
Yes, go for it.
Yeah, item 18 and 19 are very similar. And I was talking to Chris a little while ago. There's a clarification. Where's Chris? Is he still here?
His boss is here.
Regarding one of them, the lot needed to be 8,000 square feet. The other one, 5,000 square feet. And maybe John can say a few words about that. And I got a clarification from Chris, but it's probably, you might want to clarify those 2 points.
Mayor, would you like to close the public hearing before we get into the staff report?
Actually, I did close the public hearing, didn't I?
No.
Okay, then I don't see anybody who's wishing to speak on this item. The public hearing is closed on this item. Go ahead, Mr. Ramirez.
Thank you, Mayor Vargas, members of the council. My name is John Ramirez. I'm the Administrative Services Director for the city, and I also fill a dual role running the planning department. So hopefully I can clarify and that my clarification matches what Chris told you a little while ago. So I'll hold my breath and see what happens. So really what we're doing tonight and what we started about a month ago at Planning Commission is to adopt an ordinance that gives us more local control over the permitting and the construction of accessory dwelling units. Since the early 2000s, the state has progressively removed local control over the construction and the permitting of accessory dwelling units. So when I started as an assistant planner many years ago, the cities could require a conditional use permit and most often denied conditional use permits for the establishment of an accessory dwelling unit at a single family property. So now, fast forward a certain period of time, I won't say how long it's been, we are now precluded and prevented from requiring any sort of public hearing or discretionary action on the permitting of an accessory dwelling unit. So what the state does is they, over time, they've reduced the requirements for accessory dwelling units and have taken that control away from cities across the state. And the intent is to make it a method to alleviate some of the challenges for housing throughout the state. So philosophically, everybody has different ideas on whether that's good or bad, whether it'll work or whether it won't. Philosophically, we don't really have much choice. We have to comply with the state law. And one of the provisions we can do, we can either let the law ride and just enforce the state law as it's been adopted by the Assembly and the Senate, or we can adopt a local ordinance, and through adopting that local ordinance, we can actually apply a few stricter guidelines to take some of that control back and make the accessory dwelling unit ordinance fit the character and complexion of our community. And so that's what we're doing here. One of the biggest elements of it is that we're including a minimum lot size of 8,000 square feet in order to build a new accessory dwelling unit. So the definition of new would be additional square footage, either by virtue of adding on to an existing structure or building a completely new and separate structure on the property. So that's the minimum lot size is 8,000 square feet. So the 5,000 square foot lot size that you've seen in the ordinance has to do with an existing provision for minimum lot sizes within an R1 zone. And what that does is it allows some flexibility for new development to comply with the overall density that's allowed in the R1 zone, but maintain a minimum lot size. So whenever you have a large development, there's always a net acreage because you take out the streets, sidewalks, and the other infrastructure serving those residences. So the 5,000 square foot lot size that you saw, it's an existing standard that's been in the code for some time. So I don't know if that matches what Chris told you, but hopefully.
Sort of, yeah.
So-
Simply, let me see if I understand it correctly. If I have a R1 lot and I have an 8,000 square foot lot and I have a single family on that lot, I can conceivably add another unit, completely brand new unit, as long as it's what, 1,200 square feet or less?
Yes, it would be a maximum of 1,200 square
So
feet.
that's right from scratch. I could do, like if it was an R2 and I was building a duplex, right?
Yes, however, you would have to comply with the R1 standards. So whatever the lot coverage, setbacks,
Right.
those things would still apply.
But that is for brand new construction. Now the other one, the 5,000 square foot lot, I cannot add a square inch of square feet to that property. I have to either convert a garage or I have to split an existing single family into two. But as long as the footprint does not change and we're not adding any square footage, then I could go ahead and do the granny or whatever they call that.
Yeah, well, we would refer to it as an interior accessory dwelling unit in the ordinance, but yes,
Okay.
you're correct.
So that's pretty much,
less than 8,000, you would be able to do an interior ADU, which is the conversion of existing square footage. Above 8,000, you will be able to add and construct new square footage.
that make any sense? Okay, good. That's all.
Sorry, I'm long-winded. I
Yeah,
know.
no, that's all I wanted to clear up, you know?
I think the key takeaway is that the adoption of the ordinance will allow us to implement and administer an 8,000 square foot minimum lot size. And if we look at the complexion and the land use pattern throughout the city, there are areas where the lot sizes exceed 8,000 square feet. But there's portions of communities on the east and in the west and the southwest where those lot sizes don't, and actually in the northeast, that don't exceed 8,000 square feet. So by and large, because of the character of those existing single-family neighborhoods, we can't prohibit blanket these types of uses, but we can limit the physical impact to the properties. And so, like if you're in Bodger Park or if you're in Holly Park or Holly Glen, you might be able to convert existing space, but by and large, you wouldn't be able to add
It
a
would be the Burley track is usually where you have most of the big 50 by 175 foot lots.
So that would be a location where you can add. If there's already an existing duplex or an existing accessory unit, you
can't
can't
do
add
nothing.
a second one.
How many projects like that? I know that there's issues with the garage. You got to go over planning and go exactly what sort of the parking you need. But do you have very many people have taken advantage of that?
So right now, just to give you a little bit of perspective, there's just a shade over 9,000 single-family structures in the city, so about 9,100, and that's throughout the entire city. So over the last 5 to 6 years, we have processed, permitted, or approved in some way, shape, or form, roughly 35 to 40 accessory dwelling units. Now, there may be more out there.
Over what period of time?
5 to 6 years.
35.
35 to 40.
Yeah.
So, so when we see the abundance of garage use or garage conversions, it's typically not a permitted endeavor. It's
Right,
something
right,
where,
right.
you know,
somebody just
cousins come over and throw up drywall over the weekend, and then we roll a couch and a bed into the garage, that kind of thing. So,
Through the chair.
well, my cousins or my brothers,
And a six-pack of beer, right?
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
Through the chair. So I'd like to ask what, because of our severe parking problems that we have in Hawthorne, I understand the state law will not allow us to make any restriction on parking, on the number of vehicles that can be parked there. Is there any other kind of restriction that we can make on parking? Could we make a limitation on the number of cars that could be, for example, placed that the accessory dwelling unit could have?
So in the context of the accessory dwelling units, we were basically unable to provide or implement or administer any parking regulations. So I'll give you a few examples, but nobody has fruit or anything else they could throw at me, I hope. Remember, I'm just the messenger. So if I have a single family home and I want to convert the garage, you know, I have a 6,000 square foot house, I can convert the garage, and if I'm within a half a mile of a bus stop, I don't have to provide any parking. I don't need to replace that interior parking space. So if I, let's say I live in Ramona and I have a 9,000 square foot lot and I want to add a 1,200 square foot unit to the backyard, it's a deep lot, I can fit it in there. And, you know, you can do that. And if I'm within a half a mile of a bus stop, not a whole lot of parking is required. We don't require any parking. Technically, you know, the state law allows for one space per room, but once you get within that half a mile of a bus stop, they consider that transit accessible. So, notwithstanding the fact that less than 6% of Hawthorne residents use transit, again.
Interesting.
Again, this is a state law that philosophically, you know, we have to comply regardless of our philosophical differences. So. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, and it's a maximum of 2 bedrooms. So you won't have a 4-bedroom accessory dwelling unit.
Thank you.
To the chair.
Yes, sir.
John, one of the things that I don't know, maybe I'm when I was reading, I'm missing here, but also the owner have to live in that property, correct, before they can do this dwelling, right?
That's correct.
Yeah.
So the owner has to live in one or the other, either the main dwelling unit or the accessory dwelling unit. And then as part of our process, we require a covenant that's recorded on the title of the property, ensuring and agreeing that that's going to happen.
All right. 'Cause I didn't see.
Through
Through the chair again. I'm sorry.
go ahead.
Another question. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead
Okay,
and then you.
John, this is fairly new in the sense that when you file a covenant, it says you have to live there for the rest of your life. Has that been challenged legally? Because that's a pretty encumbering or restrictive, you know, is it enforceable? In like, for example, in real estate, if you buying a home and you say you're going to occupy it, there's a reasonable period where you can move. You know, it's not, and it's not in concrete that you have to live there 6 months, 9 months. It's, you know, it has to be owner occupied. And if you can, you know, move after a year and a half, whatever, and nothing's done. Doesn't that covenant, who created that covenant and how enforceable is it?
So I'm going to answer your questions in reverse. We created a draft covenant here at the city. A lot of cities have them. In my previous work at other cities, we've been using this type of covenant for probably the last 15 years. At that city, we would require that the lender, if there was a lender on the property, they would subordinate to the new covenant. So basically, we would make the covenant to be unsubordinated so that it would be primary position on the title, and then in the event of a bankruptcy, it would still stay on the title. We don't do that here. That's a little more than what we have to do. So it transfers from property owner to property owner. So if you enter into the covenant agreement, you build an ADU, I buy the house from you, then I have to live there as well. So I have to agree to that. That's on the title. It's part of the preliminary title report that would be run as part of the transaction, real estate transaction. That being said, if I live there for, you know, a couple years and I move out, the only way we get involved is if we have a neighbor who complains or brings it to our attention, and then we would go out and try to engage in enforcement for compliance. But it would be very difficult.
Okay, I mean, I got your answer, but I guess my question still, has that been challenged legally?
No, not that I know of.
Yeah.
We can effectively not require that. The state has indicated we don't have to, and some cities aren't requiring the covenant.
I got it.
But I think
Okay.
at this point, we'd want to keep it.
Okay. Maybe that's better a question for Russell. Okay.
No, we never had a legal challenge, Councilmember Tejeda, but as John just mentioned, it feels encumbering if you want to rent it out. Otherwise, if you are selling it, it is still valid. You can sell. You can move out by selling it.
Yeah, it's very difficult for a lender to subordinate anything. Okay, so I'm questioning just that alone.
Well, that's why we're not doing that.
We are not doing that.
Yeah.
But if you, let's say you are adding an accessory unit, and after 2 years or 1 year even, you decide to move out, if you are selling your property, that covenant is still valid. You are still abiding by the covenant. But if you want to move out by leasing it to someone or by renting it out, then no, you are in violation.
And what's the consequence if they violate that?
Well, we don't really look at consequences. We look at compliance. So we would seek either to have the property owner move back into the site, move back onto the property, or they would have to sell it and have someone else come in. I mean, that hasn't happened. We haven't been faced with that situation. It would be a unique instance. It might be challenging to actually gain compliance.
That covenant will be recorded.
Yeah.
So it's not easy to violate.
Yeah, through the chair.
Yes.
You mentioned the ADU must, or we can't make a restriction if it's within 1/2 mile of a bus stop. So what kind of bus stop? Is that defined at all? Is it just any bus stop? And the reason I ask that is because bus stops are changeable. So just because it might, the Metro could change the bus stop and eliminate it. And is there any definition of what constitutes a bus stop?
MTA.
Yeah, it's just referred to as a transit stop.
Yeah,
Transit stop.
Yeah, that's the only. So we would look at. I mean, any of our arterials within the city would qualify. I mean, almost without exception.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Okay. Who would like to make the motion to introduce?
Yeah,
Motion.
I second.
No, who would like to make the motion to introduce? It's just an introduction.
Yes.
Okay. I think she did, didn't she? Go ahead. Go ahead and read it then.
Ordinance number 2183, first reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, adopting a categorical exemption under the California Environmental Quality Act and approving zone amendment application 2018 Z805 to amend Title 17 of the Hawthorne Municipal Code to repeal and replace Section 17.20.130 accessory dwelling unit and make related amendments to various sections of Title 17 in accordance with state law and making findings in support thereof. For introduction.
I'll introduce it.
Okay. It's been introduced. Item number 19, Miss.
Now is the time and place for a public hearing on a consideration of an amendment to the Hawthorne Municipal Code related to accessory structures on residential, commercial, and industrially zoned parcels. Planning Department's declaration publication file, no written communications were received.
This is a public hearing. Anybody wishing to speak on this item? If not, I'll declare the oral communications on this item closed.
Ordinance number 2185, first reading. An ordinance of the City Council of the City of Hawthorne, California, adopting a notice of exemption in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, CEQA, to amend Title 17 of the Hawthorne Municipal Code, addressing definitions and types of accessory structures permitted within residential, commercial, and industrially zoned properties. For introduction.
It's been introduced by Councilmember Montero. So where are we at right now? We just finished 19? Okay. So we're on item 20, correct?
Yep.
There's nothing there.
Mr. City Manager, your consent calendar, please, sir.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, I have 4 beautiful items for you.
Beautiful.
It's just
Wow.
money pouring in.
Okay. I make the motion. Please vote.
The vote reflects mayor and city council voting yes.
So that's it for all that, right?
Well, what about 25?
Yeah, I said 4 beautiful
Four,
items.
22, 23.
25 is another one.
Okay.
Yes. The 4 items.
Yes. 22, 23, 24, and 25. That's 4. Okay.
When do you break ground, Ernie?
Just the grand offer.
Okay. So at this time was council discussion action items, and I have the sole discussion action item. Considering developing transitional housing for homeless veterans at the city-owned property located at 14115 Cordary Avenue, Hawthorne, California, 90250. So that's a city-owned property. And my recommendation, and I would like for our city manager to pursue this along with our city attorney and staff, is for the Cordary property to be designed and landscaped as, there's many options, as an RV park possibly. Some of you have heard about the container home complexes that are out there, or a building. There's many options. For our staff to look at what we can do to be able to build some type of housing, transitional housing for homeless veterans, people that just need a little help to get on their feet. But so it's meant to be transitional. It's not meant to be something permanent. And the property and the project will be would be under the full control of the city of Hawthorne, in order to be able to make sure that we do our part as a city to be able to help, one of the most challenged communities, veterans, and those that are homeless. The combination, because not all veterans are homeless, and not all homeless are veterans. So it's a fusion of those two. With regards to the funding, people might say, how could we fund this? So I'm going to ask the city manager. I've already talked to him a little bit about this. So asking him to look at the funding, possible funding from the successor agency, the housing aspect of it, the housing element aspect of it, and other grant sources, other sources of funding that we could do this with. A recommendation would be to have a on-site manager / resource counselor, somebody that's on there, not just to serve, just to watch like a night watch person or anything, somebody that is actually has the resource, somebody who's going to be able to offer the resources to these people, maybe track, the progress as to these individuals getting, their medical help, searching for work, just making sure that they're moving along their path, some type of prepared path forward for these individuals that are there. Because it's meant to be transitional, it's not meant to be something permanent. Full rules and regulations would need to be followed. We would have to make sure that they're not abusing substances, making sure that their properties are clean, their units are clean, that that they're moving on track, that there's good behavior being had. Just helping them along. There'll be some challenges, but that's why we as a city want to make sure that we do our part to help them move in a certain direction. So, as I said, it's transitional in the sense that we want to help veterans get up on their feet and be able to move forward. And it does, the idea popped up in my head, and I talked to staff, and it was because of some of my interactions with some recent veterans groups, the Wounded Heroes, and some other groups that have come. I mean, there's certain veterans that I see out on the streets who might need some help. We got to remember, though, that not everybody's going to want to participate. Some people will refuse services. So that's okay, but we have to give an opportunity. We always talk about, like, hey, why don't these developers come and, build some, like, senior housing or housing for the veterans? But we never get any takers. We never get anybody coming. So I said, we have a property that we own. Let's let the city do something about it. I know this is something that's, then I'll, who anybody wants to comment.
Yeah, I think that's a wonderful idea. How big is the property and how many units you think we could get on there?
About an acre.
About an acre?
That is correct, yes. It's 1 acre. And that, how many units is up to the city council? If we work on the idea and develop some preliminaries, it's up to the city council that how you want to, what kind of density you want to see there. Like when RV parking that Mayor mentioned, then we need to after site design, we will know how many RV, for example, we can accommodate there. So at this point, I don't have any specifics. Something that we can bring it back to the city council for your consideration.
Well, I think that, you have a veteran commission, you have other people in the city that have some experience with veterans and their issues. What you're talking about is some sort of a case manager that, or a service officer that the American Legion has service officers, and many of these guys are walking around that haven't even submitted a claim for service connection. And so, I think that Hawthorne would really, really put a feather in their cap if they put together a project like that specifically for veterans. There's a strong veterans presence in this city, whether you feel it or you don't. There's an awful lot of veterans coming to Hawthorne to get what they need. And so, I would love to be a part of that evolution, and I can certainly put you in touch with anyone that works within the Veterans Mental Health Department or things like that. That would be great.
I just want to clarify. No, so thank you for your feedback. With regards, I just want to clarify also that I know he went to the RV park, but there's still the option of we need to see what's the most viable option. The RV park, maybe container homes. The ones that they build out of those cargo container holds from the ships and everything, that they just transform them, or a building. So we have the options. What's the most viable? What seems to be,
You got the right idea.
Yeah. So it's not just. I just don't want people to think, oh, we're going to stick RVs and let it go. Nothing.
Yeah.
Well managed with the case managers and making sure we keep track of everybody and where they're going.
Yeah.
Thank you. Well, I think this is extremely timely because the report just came out recently. The new the new homeless count came out indicating that there was an increase in the South Bay of 6% of the homeless, 12% in Los Angeles, and so I think this is timely for us to be attacking this problem, and I'd like for us to work with the South Bay Council of Governments because they are very much interested in providing housing and homeless services for veterans or for any homeless persons, and they have a homeless program, so they would be a great resource to contact in terms of getting the wraparound services that would be needed for a project like this. So I would like to see us working in conjunction with them on this.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yeah.
To the chair, thank you. Yeah, it is a great idea because I belong to the South Bay Cox Homeless Task Force, and there is great interest in veterans and also seniors, like homeless veterans and seniors. And even they're talking about that the County of Los Angeles, is going to put up $485 million for 2019-20, and some of that money have some money to build some type of housing for veterans and seniors that are homeless. So I would say, I would love, to first include homeless veterans and seniors, so we will not be limited just to the homeless veterans, because we know, like Ms. Valentine said, the LA County saw an increase in homeless by almost 16%, and then so we do have some homeless in South Bay, and like I said, that Hawthorne, we always the forefront of creating good living, quality of life for everybody. So that would be a tremendous asset for us to tap in to the LA County, the homeless money that is a major age, and also the state is going to put some money, and even the federal government is talking about homeless. So it is possible that we'll have money coming from different sources who will help us out build the project. And I think it's about time that because the Corderi land is being vacant for many, many years. So it's time for us to do something about it. So I 100% support it.
Thank you,
But
sir.
with veterans and seniors.
Through the chair.
Councilmember, go ahead.
So I'm pleased to see this item on the agenda tonight. We're all aware there's a major housing crisis for our veterans. It's great that we're working in the same direction and exploring all viable options. But this item sparked conversations among our local veterans about many other viable options, and that's a good thing. So I propose that we do, as you mentioned, send this item along with all other options to our Veterans Commission for their expert input first. And the reason for that, and I'll have our Kyle Oilman from our Veterans Commission kind of give comment on why we should at least have some discussion with our Veterans Commission, as well as some of the other options that were looked at for not only this property, but with the old FAA building as well. So Kyle, could you come and give us a few remarks on it?
FAA.
Oh, yeah, the old FAA federal building.
We cannot buy them.
Yeah, it's not for buying, but if for the federal, if a federal agency were to acquire that property, but Kyle, you would know more about that. But anyway.
When I got the packet the other day about the agenda for tonight and I saw this item on it, I just about turned cartwheels down the street. Thank you, thank you, thank you. And thank you for your comments because this is an incredible opportunity, and to have the city be willing to step up on an issue like this, I can't even tell you how grateful the rest of the veterans community is going to be, and how much even more Hawthorne is going to be on the map as being veteran-centered than we are right now. I would like to see us move forward with this, and there's a lot of good ideas, and we have some additional information from some of the work that our commissioners have been working on. You've heard me speaking for the past 5 years about the master plan that's being done for the 388 acres up at West LA. And that project was a result of a lawsuit filed by a number of homeless veterans against the VA, the federal government, that the homeless veterans won, and it resulted in a negotiated settlement that is involving the whole 388-acre master plan. So a lot of the work that needs to be done in establishing those kinds of programs and that kind of housing has already been thoroughly under discussion by a number of different organizations. There's a federal oversight board that's involved in that. Many of us on the commission are also involved in some of these additional committees. I've gone to every one of those meetings for the past 5 years. And you are correct. There's not only Measure H money available, there's also Triple H money available. And the people that are administering those funds are people that I have long-term working relationships with. And so, yes, I can help facilitate some of that. I also know that in the 388-acre project that the EIR-EIS is about to be released. And as I've told you from up here before, the master developer on that project, one of the three partners, lives right here in Hawthorne and made his presentation at our event on the 13th of April. I also know the people that are coordinating the wraparound services for all of that. So rather than us trying to reinvent the wheel, if we can work with the city staff to say, this is what's available, this is what the needs are, this is what the city can bring to the table, et cetera, I think we can come up with something that will be absolutely remarkable. And I am 1,000,000% in favor of pursuing this. And please do keep us involved, because the one thing that I've learned, being a civilian but married to a veteran for over 20 years, is that that community speaks a different language. They have different needs than what those of us in the civilian community recognize. And so, having listened to the many veteran meetings and statements that I've heard over the 20-plus years of dealing with this, I have a totally different feel for it, and that's something where Carol Steinhauer and I in particular, both being veteran spouses and caregivers, can apply that, and the other members of our commission are veterans, and we're on all of these other committees. So yes, we can bring in the wraparound services with the people who are already doing it, and there's also HUD-VASH money that's available that nobody in the city is dealing with at all, and that money is a very, very major funding source, and there is plenty of it, and nobody's using it. So yes, please involve us with this.
Thank you, ma'am.
The other thing to mention, that when she mentioned there's HUD money in Triple H, there's also another reason why Fiona was such a key integral part. She mentioned there's a lot of money, especially when it comes to veteran housing, that's still not tapped into yet. And the state's really going for it. If we can find some kind of project to have wraparound service and connect it to even possibly like the other site that we have that's still unclaimed, there's possibility for us to really make a big project with these 2 parcels instead of just 1. And that's because since it's still going up for, I believe the FAA building's still going up for auction, correct, Arnie?
It is already in the auction, yes.
Yeah, it's already in auction. There's a program that we're still trying to look into.
But that property, I'm sorry, Councilmember Mahmoud, that property is zoned commercial. Marine aviation property is zoned commercial, and mandatorily there is a building there that is registered historical building that cannot be touched.
Correct.
Except for seismic retrofit.
Yeah, and those are all taken into consideration. So that's what I'm
Yes,
saying. To take these other options and the work that the Veterans Commission is doing and all their connections as well, they have the ability of that commission to really create something marvelous right there at Corderi, and to develop it into a grander idea that they've also have some thought onto. So it's a wonderful conversation that's going this way. There's been a lot of spark and talk, and I'm just really excited to have these 2 sites, or especially this one starting off first, would be amazing.
Okay. No, thank you for your feedback. So I'd like to have the focus on this specific site because we as a group, the FAA building, that's already been laid out as commercial, and I think that's been from the community feedback and a lot of things, and it's a good opportunity for bringing in some
It
revenue.
will still be commercial. We're not changing that. We're just talking about.
Yeah, no, but like it's a full zone, fully commercial. So
Yes.
yeah, it's not mixed use or anything. Go ahead.
Yeah, one more. There's a project by U.S. Vets over here in Inglewood that you could take a look at that and kind of get ideas of what they do and how they run it. And there's another one in Long Beach run by U.S. Vets, which is very similar to what you could do, and you wouldn't have to reinvent the wheel.
Right. And that's one of the organizations that would be helping as well.
Yeah.
Through the chair.
Go ahead,
I mean,
sir.
it is up to the city council, whatever you like to do, whatever you decide, you just give us a directive to move in that direction.
Well-
But there are so many different projects. We are not inventing anything. You know, yes, there are sources available. We have Successor Housing Agency, and we have Measure H. Triple H is City of LA. I don't know about that. I mean, that can be, I don't think any money from City of LA can come to outside their jurisdiction, but Measure H is our county homeless measure money, yes, and it is available to us, and the staff can request for grant. So it's up to the city council if you want the city to take the lead to do this, or you want to go to outside organizations, it's up to you.
No,
You know, I mean, it is your decision. But
I want to take lead on this. You know, we've waited too much for other people to come in. The city's going to take the lead on this. I mean, this is all. This is a culmination, guys. I mean, with all respect to some of the people who come, developers are the ones who build a city and create a city, but then there are some that degrade a city and make it less than what it should be, right? So there's 2 types of developments. Okay, and
Good idea.
no, there's two. So and this is a culmination. I just want you guys where my mind process was. You know, attending his event, talking to some of the veterans before, like for the last 5-6 years, developing our veterans organization. My several conversations I had with Kyle Orleman about the projects over there and possibility. And one big project, guys, that Mayor Pro Tem Valentine, myself, even Kyle Orleman, was that RFK building, the one that Mr. Bill Hassan owns. We've sent groups and groups and groups over to the gentleman, and he doesn't want to consider anything. He doesn't want to take anything. We brought up this idea about senior housing and veterans housing there, and he's pushed back on us. So there's been alternatives. You know, Kyle, that we've done that. We've talked to them independently, et cetera. So at this point, to wait for these people to do something, that's it. I think we just need to take the bull by the horns, and as a city, just govern it and hands off. And if there's anybody, there's subject matter experts within the Veterans Commission and people you guys know, absolutely, 100%. Of course, the wraparound services that I was talking about, having somebody on site to be able to be the conduit for that. or be a trained psychologist or whatever the heck's needed, just to make sure that you can guide us in that direction. But I think at this point, the focus, my request and my direction for city manager would be to have the city run this thing with your assistance.
But through the chair, I think it's confusion. I don't want you to confuse the public what I'm saying, so I have to recorrect you. So what I was meaning was, so it is still ran by the city. It's including the Veterans Commission into the planning is what we're asking.
No, yeah, absolutely.
That's all we're asking. No one's telling about changing the zoning. No one's talking
No.
about taking a project away from the city. We're just saying that the Veteran Commission, who are because we were discussing it, only veterans know what veterans need. That's the thing. Us as a city, we do not. So to include the commission, it is needed. And that is why she mentioned the master plan.
Absolutely.
There was a lawsuit because the commission or the veterans were not included.
No, absolutely. And
So
that's what
we're asking. City will keep control.
No, that's what I just said, guys. Didn't I say the subject matter
Kind
experts
of,
are there?
Kind of.
I
You're
mean, I
taking
don't-
as me taking the property.
No, absolutely
It's not
not.
that. The city's still owning it, Vargas. It's just that the commission should be involved in
Yes.
actually discussing
Absolutely,
what's happening.
Councilman Awad, this is part of the process.
Correct.
We wanted, so when I said it is just proposed, when we come up with some preliminaries, it will go through both planning commission. It has to go through planning commission because current zoning right now in that property is mixed use, right? So yeah, it will go there through planning commission and also veteran commission. And then it comes to city council also. So you make the final decision. Ultimately, product is some housing for veterans, which is a good thing. So
yeah, of
ultimately, yeah, so we are going to provide those residential units, making them available for our veterans and senior citizens, homeless.
And reaffirming,
That difficult, guys.
reaffirming. No, but the thing is, it's like I acknowledge and I appreciate. I think we're like all excited about this, and no, absolutely nothing. But we have the Veterans Commission as a resource. We have the Wounded Warriors group also. We also have our American Legion groups, etc., that are kind of like fused through the Veterans Commission. We also have the South Bay COG.
I'm on that tax force.
The South Bay COG that is also the South Bay Council of Government. We have tax boards. So we have a lot of people that, it's just, people just, they say that they want to help the homeless and the veterans and the seniors, and they don't step up. They just, an excuse to get into a city and build other stuff.
That's the truth. There's
Yeah.
a lot of people talking about helping vets. They don't do nothing.
They come in, they sneak in, they say they're going to build all that stuff. They build it, and all of a sudden, they forget about the homeless, the veterans, and the seniors, and then they just start renting it out for profit without any sense of charity. So that's why I really want to just, and of course,
You're
through the
on
help.
the right track, Mr. Mayor. And
Yeah,
we
it's
just
gonna be
gotta
good.
Come up with a workable program.
Yeah, and that's why I think having the Veterans Commission involved is the most crucial
Absolutely.
thing. And as you know, working with the Wounded Heroes, those commissioners, they know what these vets need more than we do.
I deal with these
All
young
day.
people every day. I know what their challenges are.
Oh, I mean, like the majority. Like of course, but the majority.
Do we have a consensus on this item?
Yeah.
Yes,
Okay,
yes.
thank you guys. Actually, that's good. Really good. All right, so can you guys start working on something and just start drafting something up? Maybe by the end of the week, you could give me an idea how long this.
Oh, I'm
whole-
sorry. It's not a week.
No, you could give me an idea how long this
Just-
is going to take. I'm not going to give you a specific timeline today.
That's up. Okay, then this is something for City Council to come to a conclusion. The more groups and outside communities you want to get involved to talk about this, the later we can start doing the actual work. So if you want us to roll the sleeve up and break the ground, that's up to you. How long does it take for you to go over this thing?
The management of it is what we're talking about.
Yeah.
The infrastructure, we can go ahead and move.
Right.
Okay.
The
then
management, you
perfect.
understand, right? The management of it,
Miss-
Yeah, all the other servers come later
Yeah.
after the construction.
I see. So are you talking about them getting involved after construction is over?
well, yeah, as it starts
Just
moving
talk
along.
about
Hold on. Ms. Orleman, head of our Veterans Commission, can you? I know she raised her hand a few seconds ago.
We can do is they have to be designed for
Okay, just from what I've heard right now, you've got a 1 acre property and there's a number of zoning considerations that are going to have to happen. And I know that there are different rules for density depending on what the use is going to be. My suggestion would be, I would be more than willing to come in and sit down with city staff and go over some of that stuff so that I know your parameters and you know where the holes are and where we can best plug them. So I would say the earlier you can get us involved, we have a meeting Monday at 3:15 right here. If we want to have some discussions on that, that would be a good start, because before you start putting budgets together and planning commission things and having things approved, I would hate to see you come up with an entire design, and this is exactly what happened at West LA, and have shovels in the ground and then having the veterans go, what about this? What about this? What about this? So get us involved at the beginning so that we mesh
Excuse me,
together.
I think there is still some miscommunication.
Okay.
I think this is for homeless,
Right.
transitional
Right.
homeless veterans or citizens. We're not talking about a project that veterans go and actually acquire property.
Understand.
This is totally different. So let's say we build 25-unit residential project there. So are you saying that homeless are refused to go and occupy?
No, but I'm saying that there are some specific populations that are not being dealt with right now that we might have an opportunity for. And here's the other reason that I'm bringing this up right now, because we have an opportunity, okay? I know about what's happening with the 12 to 1,700 units that are being built up there, and they won't be ready for a few years. So if we can put transitional housing in here right now, while that build out is happening, that would be tremendous, and there's a lot of money available. And again, I know the people who have access to it, in addition to the funds that you were already talking about.
There is money
And-
available, Carl,
yeah.
for this project.
Right.
There is money available.
Okay.
So we are not here struggling for the grants. Like
Okay.
I said, staff is going to apply for the grant for Measure H.
Okay.
That money belongs to our city
Right.
because our residents are paying for it.
Right.
Our residents are generating $3.5 million worth of Measure H money for LA County. So we have to. It is this city's right to tap into that Measure H money. So we should apply for it, and we are going to. And on top of that, we have also our Successor Housing Agency funds. So we are not struggling for fund. That's not an issue for
Right,
us.
and see, since this is the first time I'm hearing this, I don't know what you've put together, and
I
that's why.
haven't put anything together.
Yeah.
We
Well,
just
that's
had
yeah.
a discussion.
No, thank you, Commissioner.
Yeah.
We were
Okay.
bringing up a discussion.
But you know, Kyle,
And then-
we just
Yeah,
heard that, so I don't think we are ready for anything
This isn't
by
the
Monday.
working meeting.
By Monday, but it is going to take at least, Mr. Mayor, at least 1 month. Give us a month or two to come up with some schedule, and then we meet for those
Absolutely.
preliminaries. Yes.
Thank you very much.
And I'm
I appreciate
glad you're excited about it, and I'm glad that you were doing cartwheels, you said?
Yeah, I
No,
did
that you were excited about it, because
As
this,
long as
I
you have
thought
the
about
paramedics
you.
outside.
That I was thinking about
And
you
just-
and all the
oh,
people. Go
And
ahead.
also, just keep in mind the priority is Hawthorne residents that we're going to
Exactly.
be attacked first, and then we'll
Exactly.
see what's going to happen.
So, yeah, this is a
We
great
do-
opportunity.
We do have to
Yeah,
take care of
thank
our
you.
own, our Hawthorne residents. That's what we're tasked with
Our
doing.
homeless,
Taking care of our
'cause
Hawthorne
we
people.
got about 94 of them.
Thank you guys all for your unanimous support on this,
Yeah.
and looking forward to some good stuff. And we're going to include everybody, at the end. Everybody's excited. All right.
So the direction is to have staff.
To come up with a report, a tentative, like some type of an outline, a schedule for this, with like the funding already sought out and placed, etc., from the different groups, and give us some
Options.
either options or something that maybe even they recommend, but on their own.
Yeah.
Without interference from me,
Council.
maybe council, they come up with what's best, because they might know what they'll probably research if it's more convenient to have the RV park, the pros and cons on that, a container home complex, the pros and cons of that, or the building concept, which the pros and cons of that. So that they need
And
to
then the options from the U.S. vets and the other veteran groups too.
absolutely, yeah,
And may I?
for funding, correct?
No, for actual also.
For the services part.
Also their ideas of the layout as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
No, yeah, they're going to take all that.
Yeah. Good.
Absolutely.
And I just want to
Again, we are back
reemphasize that.
to- So are you asking us to include all the other groups?
No. This is like they have specific types of layouts and types of structures on
It
ideas on
won't-
how to build this stuff. You got enough information?
We have the information. Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
we have
we can
enough
end this discussion,
information.
Yeah, you
we
can-
have enough information,
to go
and then we
forward.
leave it to the city council. If you want to just let it go with vetted by other groups and get all those ideas,
No,
you
no,
can
we
delay
need
it
to-
for 1 year.
Mr. Mayor, City Manager, just because you're confusing the public too. There's no changing or anything like that. It's just their input into the design phase. No one else is coming in to delay the project.
But you know, this is what happens normally in practice,
It won't be like
Councilmember
this.
Awad, when you are asking opinions for design, then yeah, it can drag forever.
It won't.
You know,
Because we'll
and
keep the same
that's-
timeline. It won't change your outline at all.
Okay, we'll see.
Let's
Okay.
move ahead. Let's
Okay,
go kind
sure.
of with the original plan, and we'll just detail something. And if we need to move quickly, we'll move quickly. Okay. Done. All right. Thank you, guys. All right. So, elected officials reports, recommendations. Mr. City Treasurer,
Nothing at this time, thanks.
Ms. Deputy City Clerk,
Nothing at this time.
Councilmember Hadarawad.
Brief. So I wanted to congratulate all the students. I wanted to thank Dr. O'Brien, all the principals coming out today. Thanks to Fiona Ma for coming down, presenting the certificate from Karen Bass. Appreciate her as well. I'll keep it short. Thank you very much.
Councilmember Tayeda.
Well, I want to thank the police department for giving us the opportunity to get our guys together that one day and help us start our softball program. Congratulations to Hader for that beautiful presentation, and you know that's big. You know, to bring our kids up. I think that we definitely need to showcase our children, and you did a great job with that. I'm excited about this thing with the veterans. I feel like, let me handle it, I'll take care of it, but I know that's not going to happen. But I think that it's not that complicated. It's really, if you keep it simple, it's going to be a big success. No, it's there's some good things happening. And looking forward to the Cuban Festival. You know, I came here as a refugee from Cuba when I was 9 years old. I know the challenges and how proud we are of this country, and how much we love the country as a community because of everything that it's done for us. So I'm looking forward to some black beans and rice and salsa and
Plantanos. Fritanga.
yeah, that's it for me.
All right. Councilmember Montero.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Yeah, again, it's great to see these wonderful kids, going to college, and they'll, like Dr. O'Brien said, they're our future. So we have to give them all the help they can because, college is expensive. So, so whatever help that can come from all of us is much appreciated. So I'm glad that to see that myself, Councilor Ward, step up to give them a hand because these are brilliant kids that just need to get into college. So thank you for all of that. I'm also excited, for the Cuban Festival because last year I missed the Cuban Festival, right? So this year I'm glad to see it was September 15th. I'll be in town. Appreciate that. The Corderi property, yes, definitely. This is a great ideas, and I think we can do it because, like I said, I have the little castle right there with the preschoolers. Maybe the vets can come up and volunteer with the kids. So that's a wonderful idea. So, and I know Arnie and the engineering, and they will come up with a plan that they'll be happy for everybody. I did attend the South Bay Web Fit for Gold, graduation also, and I was proud to see a lot of kids from Hawthorne, graduate for the Fit for Gold. So that was pretty good. And also, I'm continuing to attend the Clean Power Alliance. More news to come soon about that. And the Senior Citizens Commission is going to have a resource fair in October. So they would like to be able to fundraise some money. So if, Russell, if you can come up with some resolution so they can go through the city to raise some money, I appreciate it for the resource fair. So this is from the Senior Citizens Commission. And thank you for all of you for coming. And the police department continue to do good work. I know you guys are out there, protecting us every day. You put your life in line of fire. So keep doing what you're doing, and you got my outstanding support. So keep doing that. Thank you.
Mayor Pro Tem?
Thank you. So this is about AB 1279. I call this the son of SB 50. This would require the Department of Housing and Community Development to designate areas in this state as high resource areas. In these high resource areas, a housing development project would be a use by right upon the request of a developer in certain parts of the high resource area if those projects meet specified requirements, including specified affordability requirements. This is another one of those bills where the legislature in Sacramento is eliminating the ability of local governments to make their own planning decisions. I am directing staff to prepare a resolution opposing this legislation. On June 1st, I was hosted on a ride-along with the Hawthorne Police Department. I want to thank Chief Ishii. I want to thank Lieutenant Amy Yoshida, who escorted me. The shift was a very active one. They said it was going to be dead. There was nothing going to be going on. And boy, oh my goodness, 10 minutes into the shift, there was something going on. I had a chance to see how the HPD handles very challenging situations. They had a stolen car response, they had a major accident in Holly Park, and they had the setting up of a perimeter to catch a bad guy. Lieutenant Yoshida was very professional and effective in her leadership of that team, and I want to thank again Chief Ishii and Lieutenant Yoshida for a very valuable experience, and I encourage my council member colleagues to take advantage of the ride-along experience. It's very eye-opening, and you really get to see the professionalism of our police department. I was very proud of their responses. See if I have anything else. I want to thank Councilmember Awad, Councilmember Montero for giving out scholarships for our students to encourage them. It's not necessarily the amount of the scholarships, although those were very generous scholarships, but it's the idea of making students feel as though all of those efforts were important to this community, and we appreciated what they did, and we wanted to show our appreciation. So thank you for that. I think that's very important. And gee, we want those kids back in Hawthorne after they graduate. I was thinking, my goodness, all of these wonderful careers they have in mind. I hope they don't go off somewhere else and give other people the benefits of their talent. I want them to come right back here to Hawthorne and be a contributed member of our society here. And let's see, is there anything else? Oh, the baseball game. So I just want to reiterate the fact that the baseball game was very important. It was a very important community event. Wounded Heroes, HPD, it was a perfect combination. Two very great teams, great friendly competition. They had exactly the right attitude about it. And I think this is something the entire community should see. And I do want to encourage you to continue this tradition and have this become a yearly event. So, love that. And thank you all. That's all I have.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor, excuse me. Holly Park, they're having the pancake breakfast this Saturday at the Lutheran, right? Lutheran Church on Imperial from 9 to 1, 9 to 12. So come to the Holly Park and get the pancake for $5. So thank you.
Okay. All right, folks. Thank you all for coming today. I also want to thank my council colleagues, Councilmember Hader Awad and Councilmember Alex Montero for stepping up and helping and assisting with these scholarships to the brightest here in the city of Hawthorne students and helping them along in their career paths. That's great. We fully support you. Thank you. It was great that the state treasurer was here to address us, and congratulations on that recognition. And of course, you know, the other item that we talked about was the Court Area project, the veterans, for homeless veteran housing. So we just wanted to, and possibly seniors, and we're stepping up as a city to just kind of take that bull by the horns. I'm tired of hearing people saying that they're going to help and not doing anything. And so I think it's good that we as a city are going to take control of the situation and try to assist and bring some hope to some of these individuals who are looking for help and assistance in transitioning into a better permanent living situation. Okay, so that's pretty much it. Does anybody else have anything further? Staff? If not, I'll adjourn this meeting. Thank you.